And welcome to episode number 30. Can you believe it, Simon? We're up to 30 already. And we've got a special guest. We've got Ed on. But first, I'd like to introduce who we are and what we do. So just bear with me for a second while I get myself organised. If I ever can get myself organised, that's the problem. I've got the modern technology. Isn't it good? And just bear with me a second. I'm getting it there. It's not working for me. Come on. Okay, here we go. I am Tony Neale, and my business is all about well-being. I help individuals and business owners via customized retreats, workshops, and consultations to maximize their feelings of vibrance, purpose, happiness, health, and success. And Simon, what do you do?
Firstly, good morning, Tony. How are you? For those that don't know me, my name is Simon Bowden, and I'm an international marketing business coach with 25 years experience, which makes me a master coach. My mission is always to help my clients identify their aspirations and visions, strengths and blind spots, help them make informed decisions and take actions when needed to ultimately fast track them towards their personal goals. My coaching caters for executives and directors to entrepreneurs, small business owners and beyond. Whatever your situation, I'll help you build on your strengths and get clear on how to create a profitable future. I love what I do, and I'm passionate about helping clients succeed, Tony, and as you know.
I do, because you're my coach, and you're helping me to succeed. But
no problem,
let's
Tony.
find out what's our mission. And here it is. Our mission, which we always accept, is to educate and engage with our audience with lively discussions with experts, just like Ed we're going to have, to gain their valuable experiences, tips and benefits of the business and well-being practices they can offer. Wow. And I've got a special guest today, and my special guest is Ed. Hello, Ed. Say hello to everybody.
Oh, my God. I'm so honoured to be on the show with the dangerous Simon Bowden and the extremely powerful Tony Neale. I love you guys.
Thank you, Ed. Now, just permit me to read out Ed's bio. Gotcha. I have snuck this off your LinkedIn.
Cool.
Ed has been an international master coach for 11 years. He's also a meetup community leader now for over 4 years. He teaches us on Teachable platform. He's the coach. He's for over 3 years. He's been involved and still is with the Australian Marketing Institute now for over 18 years.
Yeah. And
before that, he has been a member of the business chamber as an MC. And he graduated from Monash University. And in the middle there, Ed was in the armed services, weren't you? And so, was there anything else that you'd like to add in there, Ed, about yourself?
No, I think the only thing I'd love to add to it as well is that I'm married to the wonderful Ed Zia, who is extremely powerful. And the thing I want to add to it as well is I am so honoured to be on your show. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Simon, actually, while we're here, is that Simon has done an amazing job with the Melbourne meetup. So the Melbourne meetup on Friday was hustling and bustling. And all I can say is, Simon, you are not only a great coach, you're an amazing coach, you're also an amazing networking leader too. So honoured with you guys.
No, I appreciate that, my friend. It's great to have you on our show today. And we've got some great insights that we want to not only share with you, but get some great feedback from you, because you've had an amazing life so far.
Yeah.
And we really want to, let's say, open up that box and share with us some of the perhaps the challenges of 2021. If you can start with that.
Absolutely. And I've been saying this to Simon as well off camera. So giving some context of 2021, what happened to me, and just being honest with you all, is when the original pandemic hit in 2020, I was doing really well business-wise, but my business tanked. I basically lost about 2/3, 3/4 of my revenue in a month because a lot of my business was face-to-face at that time, be it through the meetups or be it through my coaching. I had a few grand a month of online revenue then, but hardly anything notable. And what flowed into 2021 is I had to really work my butt off. So I went on all the legendary government programs like JobKeeper and all that, which is awesome. And then what I did was I worked my butt off to bring the business back to where it was, at least pre-pandemic. So about the start of I would say, start of 2021, I got the business sort of to parity with what it was pre-pandemic. But the beauty is that it was online revenue. I had more time to do what I needed to do. But then the biggest challenge and hit was we got a second lockdown, right? And the good news, the bad news and the good news. The good news is that my business did not actually go backwards. I grew a little bit, but I didn't actually take one step backwards. So the biggest challenge for me in 2021 was the second lockdown and really having that slow down my growth. But overall, I'm happy because I didn't take one step backwards.
Yeah. And Simon, whilst we're going to do a little bit different today, Simon, you tell me, what were the challenges for 2021 for you? I'm going to put you on the spotlight.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that. I think the challenges for me perhaps was a little bit different to what Ed described. For me, it was about having a full phone battery memory because my phone just didn't stop ringing, and as I was putting the phone down, the phone would ring again, and really what it was it was a number of clients, a number of associates, colleagues, friends, and even some family friends that, these lockdowns presented a major issue for them because it was that uncertainty of not knowing what to do. Yeah. We're going in because, as you remember, we didn't know whether it was going to be a week of lockdown or 3 months of lockdown. I mean, this is just, it's incredible. And the fear factor, I suppose, was ever growing, and a lot of people just didn't know what to do. They just, some of them put their head in the sand and didn't do anything, and they ultimately paid the price because they didn't get the opportunity to perhaps change direction or do some of those things. So, I spent a lot of time, just helping people. We had many discussions on the phone of perhaps advice into what to do, how to do it, how to ultimately, help them change direction in some cases. And look, at the end of the day, probably 80% of them were successful. 20% didn't make it. But I think across the board, that was, there was a lot of people that didn't unfortunately make it. But the thing is, we have to put our best step forward and do the best we can. So that was my challenge, Tony.
Yeah, but I'll just share my challenge. My challenge in the actual lockdowns was that my business, which is Wellbeing Health Retreats, could not run because of the lockdowns. And we were in a situation in May when we was actually running a retreat, and halfway through, it was directed that that the lockdown was starting. And so what we had to do, and which was difficult, was that we had to close our retreat halfway through and give a credit to all our participants. Yeah. And we had to close a bit early because one of our participants was living in Shepparton, so they needed that time to be able to pack up and drive all the way to Shepparton before the actual curfew started. And for us, that was a pretty big shock, and it will sort of put us in a bit of a bind because we then had to try and get all our participants to give them credits and try and work out a time when they all could come together. And do you reckon we could get that to happen? No, everyone had different things, and there was the uncertainty of when this retreat could be resumed, and it never happened. And so we were out of pocket because we did the right thing and honoured our retreat participants and gave them refunds. So that just came out of our pocket. And a lot of businesses were like this. And this is the thing, like I'm also in not-for-profit organisations. I'm in with an organisation that deals with mental health. I won't say their name, but just haven't got their permission to. But anyway, there's a lot of mental health issues caused by these lockdowns. A lot of people are stressed. A lot of people have actually even committed suicide. And a lot of businesses have had to close down. This has been really a social issue of a great magnitude. And this is why Simon and I love doing our Let's Chat. If you've followed our show, you'll find that what we do is we put people on who've had various challenges and how they've come through. And that's what we need. We need people to build their resilience up and say, no matter what happens, we've got freedom and we've got choice to make the right decisions to get us forward. And I think that's probably another topic that we'd love to talk about. And I might throw this one at Ed. Ed, what does freedom mean to you? Tell me what that means to you and to your clients and your business.
Yeah, and I think and I'm really lucky because I achieved a lot of freedom as I rebuilt the business during the pandemic. To me, freedom means you've got the ability to make choices and you're kind of living life on your terms. Yeah. And that's why it's a subjective definition, because for example, even though I'm a Persian guy, I don't care about cars, right? If you said to me, Ed, get a Porsche tomorrow, pay $1,200 a month as a payment, you got a Porsche, I would say, no way. I'd much rather take an Uber and keep the $1,200 to fund my family and my own freedom. So to me, it's not so much, do you want the Porsche or not? It's a matter is that I get to choose whether I want it or not. So to me, it's having that choice and having those circumstances set up. And one of the biggest things that I've really realized, and Simon knows well about this, and big shout out to you, Simon, is that as I rebuilt the business with more of an online model, it actually gave me so much more freedom. So I'm earning more money than I did pre-pandemic, but I have the freedom which I didn't have pre-pandemic. Does that make sense, guys? What do you think?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, Simon, I might throw it to you now, Simon. What does freedom mean to you?
Look, freedom, as Ed said, I think freedom is all about choice. It's being able to make the choice of which way you want to go. So if you're at the crossroads, you can either turn left or turn right. And it's your choice, whichever way you wish to go. I suppose that means that is freedom. Yeah.
And thank you, Simon. And freedom means to me is so important because that's one of the things that we teach at our retreats and also with coaching. It's the freedom to make a choice that's going to work for you.
Correct.
It's about self-empowerment. Just imagine if you surrendered your choice. What would happen?
Yeah.
You'd become a slave or a robot. Is that what you really want to do? Well, you want to empower yourself to be the best that you can be and to get to your higher self, to be the best that you can be. No matter what your profession is, whether you're a tennis player or a candlestick maker, it doesn't matter. That's what you want to be. That's your desire. And good on you if that's what you want to be. Totally. So we really need to build a society and the infrastructure around it about free choice. And I think this is a big wake-up call for all our politicians. And I hope you're listening because the people are the power, not you.
Yeah.
And if you don't do this, you're going to be voted out, mate. So think about what you're doing. Are you governing for the people, or are you governing for another purpose? This is another thing that I really want this message to get out, is about everyone waking up to what freedom really means. Okay, I've said my piece.
I wanted to go back to Ed and let's go back in time, Ed. You often refer to yourself as a homeless veteran. Tell us a little bit about that, and perhaps sort of what the challenges were for you back then to get yourself back on track.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for asking. I even wore my army colored T-shirt today, so I wore my khaki green T-shirt. And I want to give a big shout to Tony as well. I think Tony's answer on choice and freedom, couldn't agree with you more. That kind of flows into how I wound up a homeless veteran. So very long story short, so in the military, I got injured. But then what happened was for a few years there, I had a few very good years. So I had a really bad case of PTSD from my injuries. And what happened was actually for a while there, I actually went on to live quite a successful life. I ended up finishing my education. I actually wound up as a marketing director for a very, very important casino in Australia. And I actually did really well in my time. What happened to me, though, was that my PTSD injuries kept catching up with me. In my late 20s, I started getting really sick from it in terms of anxiety, panic attacks, and that sort of thing. And that combined with a bit of my own scarcity thinking as well. I think I had a few, very scarcity-minded ideas that I definitely don't share anymore. And I think as well, I also had that mental illness catching up on me, and that basically formed a cocktail, and that led to me basically, not being able to hold down my job, albeit I made him a lot of money, but ended up to me running out of money, living in my car. And that's when I decided to do what's called a Hail Mary, the old expression Hail Mary, where you just, everything's messed up, so you just throw everything in the air. And I landed in Sydney in that scenario. And I started there. And like a lot of coaches, except for you, Simon, because except for you, I know Tony and Simon were already successful people who became coaches. I was the other extreme. I was like the homeless loser who thought maybe I should become a coach. So I was like that guy. So I was like the homeless loser who thought, you know what, I should become a coach. Why not? And no, really good, really, really good. And what was interesting is flowing to what you guys are saying now. When the pandemic hit, my business tanked. It didn't actually bother me that much. It annoyed me, but it didn't bother me because I knew I could rebuild it and remade it, which I did. So it's interesting. That's a basic story. Yeah, it's crazy times.
Tony, did you want to ask anything in regards to that?
Yeah, with that, Ed, what do you think was the aha moment that snapped you out of the situation?
Yeah, I think it was over a period of a few days. I was living on the beach in my car as a homeless vagabond you do, right? And the aha moment came to me where I started thinking, even if I actually said this, at the depths of my homelessness, even if I had the fairy godmother come in and say, Ed, with this wand, I can do one swipe and I can take you back to when you were really successful in kicking butt. I actually said, no, I don't want it. I actually even though I was a homeless veteran and all that, I was actually felt better than I did when I was a corporate. And it got me thinking about where to from here. I don't want to go back, right? If someone came and said, Ed, you can have your old life back. No, just leave me in my car. Leave me on the beach. I'm doing all right. And that was the aha moment. And that's when I thought, where to from here? And sort of, leaning towards where Simon Bowden goes. Simon Bowden, who's got some very progressive thinking, which I have a lot of respect for, is where to from here? Where do I want to go? What kind of plan am I going to put in place?
Yeah. Did you have sorry, Simon, did you have like a spiritual awakening? Did something help you move forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I converted to Christianity in my mid-20s, right? So came from Islamic background, converted to Christianity. So I was already quite a Christian by then. But what was interesting in terms of spiritual awakening is I turned into a bit of a monk, actually. So I started going really spiritual and Zen. And I actually made a lot of friends at the time. So I sort of, for a while there, I was sort of like, oh my God, I'm homeless. And then for a while, I sort of entered that, I don't know, bit of a Gandhi mode saying, I'm homeless because the Lord wants me here. Being homeless is yours. So I went down this sort of Knights Templar monk sort of path. And I actually made a lot of friends. So what would happen to me is that I just make friends talking to people. And I ended up becoming like a counselor, basically. And then people would say, oh, by the way, Ed, where do you live? And I sort of point over at my car and they're like, what? And then I mentioned, oh, yeah, I used to be a veteran. And they're like, what? So when word got around town, there's a homeless veteran living on the beach and he's actually really cool. Yeah, I just became like a bit of a monk, actually, a bit of a friar. And it was really good. So I became really Zen. And then, yeah, it was quite good. So I had hair at the time. I even joked it a bit. I need to do the friar tuck thing, like shave the top. Does he do that? Does he like shave the top and have the sides?
Yeah.
So I thought I should be like come like Friar Tuck or something. That'll be awesome.
I'd love to see some photos of that time, Ed. So you'll have to dig some out if you've got any.
I had hair then, but yeah, I was thinking the whole Friar Tuck thing at the time would have been funny.
So cast it back to that time, Ed. Who were the people in your life at that stage that were perhaps influencing you to be doing what you were doing?
Yeah, interesting. And I know Tony would appreciate this one too. What was interesting is that in my time doing that, I became basically a bit of a counselor. I became a bit of a preacher. I talk about the Lord and Jesus. And what was interesting is things sort of dawned on me, because what would happen was I was the homeless guy living on the beach, and so this is in a place called, I don't know if you know this, but it's a place called DY in Sydney. And
Yes.
DY is it's a local beach. It's not like Bondi, but it's basically CEOs live there, right? In DY, right? Very, very beautiful place of Sydney. If you ever go to Sydney, go to DY Beach. And what happened was men, women, and all ages would basically start talking to me. I ended up giving him advice, and I realized that I was the homeless guy giving advice to people who were like driving Mercedes and Audis and had mansions, right? And what was interesting, and what it really reminded me of was that I understand why this scenario is happening, because whilst I'm materialistically I'm nothing, I can see that a lot of these people financially are killing it, but are spiritually broke. And I know Tony and Sharada would love where I'm putting this angle here.
Yes, that's right.
And I realized, and of course, I want to have a nice home and car and be loaded and all that, but I thought I want to go in the spiritual direction in life, because I thought, even if I wind up I said to myself, if I wind up a multimillionaire taking advice from a homeless veteran living on the beach, that's not good either. I don't want to be in that position too. So I thought, I might really go in the spiritual direction there. And here I am, and again, when the lockdown hit last year, I was annoyed, but I took a very spiritual approach to it, saying, all right, here we are. And I thought, you know what? I want to become a global superstar now, which I did, which is good.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting questions is spirituality and money. It's the relationship between both of them. And I know I've got a lot of friends who are light workers, and they've got a very negative view about money. They say, well, because I'm a light worker, I shouldn't really be, I shouldn't have money.
Terrible viewpoint.
They've got that poverty type of attitude. Whereas
terrible viewpoint.
I think the attitude that we need to sort of adopt is that money is a good servant, but a bad master.
Yeah.
So let's think about that. If you're a good servant, you get the resources that you want, so you can do the things that you want to do to help people and communities and other businesses and so forth. And that's what our wellbeing health retreat's all about. And I think Simon's the same. I know Simon, he goes out of his way to help people. And he's done 10,000 little gifts for me that he may or may not be aware of, but he does. And I know that within your heart too, Ed, you do a lot of things to help people, and you set up our LinkedIn community family, and you go out of your way to sort of be very personable and to show the human and spirit side of a person, rather than it's all just money.
No, you're right. And I think, that perhaps leads me into a very pertinent question for Ed, that, he's obviously helped many, many people over his time. And even as an influencer currently now, I know that there's many, many people that speak very highly of him, and it's lovely to see. It's terrific. But perhaps, Ed, if you could share some examples of perhaps some people that you've been able to help as an influencer and what you do today.
Yeah, no, and thank you guys. I really appreciate you both. I've been able to help a lot of people in terms of, without mentioning anyone, just for the sake of privacy, but I've really helped a lot of people who are exceptional characters basically become famous and get known. And that's, I'm talking, thousands of people we've helped do that. And some of them pay us, some of them don't. And that's one of the reasons why I put a lot of free content and networking opportunities. A, it makes me look good, but B, it also creates a platform for people to come together, but also for people to learn all the moves to make it happen. So I think the thing that's interesting is that, you know, when I rebuilt my life, and then especially when my business tanked, you know, just as the pandemic hit, I was able to really rebuild my business over about 6 to 12 months, you know, using the influencer thinking. So it was that pressure that got applied to me that turned me into a great influencer. And then now that skill is what I teach to everyone, because you know, it's I get the odd person coming along saying, Ed, I can't afford to become an influencer. And I just shake my head saying, you know, I don't spend any money on paid advertising, don't you? They're like, really? Yeah, it just kills their argument. And then they, and I know Tony will like this one, then they'll bring up the real argument. Okay, well, I'm just not confident enough. Okay, now you're telling me the truth. Thank you. At least you're not lying to me anymore.
That's good. Let's just sort of look into 2022 in the crystal ball, all right? Ed, what sort of plans have you got that you can share with the audience that you've got for 2022? What's going to be the new Ed? What new things are you going to come up with to dazzle us with?
Well, firstly, I just want to say I got amazing Simon Bowden actually giving me input into my business to help me with my blind spots. There's a few blind spots which I'm very aware that I have and I probably don't have. So firstly, I've opened my heart to legendary Simon Bowden as an input. And Simon's already been really helping me in terms of restructuring my offers and my wording. So I think that whilst that won't change what so much I teach, it's sort of influencing the way I work with people and how deeply. So big shout to Simon on that one. The main things for me is probably two angles. One is growing the international platform. We grow by at least 1,000 followers a week, which is pretty good. Yeah, at least 100 a day, so to speak. Usually getting new clients every week, usually 2 or 3. I want more, but usually getting 2 or 3 new clients a week. And also running a lot of face-to-face meetups. So for me, there's this international growth, which I'm really excited about, but also the face-to-face growth locally as well, you know, which is very important. So I think educating more people, but getting more people connected is very important.
That's beautiful. Simon, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Simon Bowden in 2022? Well, tell me the things that you've got planned, all the exciting things.
Well, as you know, Tony, Ed was the one that sort of got me started, obviously, 12 months ago by planting the seed of doing an online platform. So I finally got that launched, and that's starting to take off, which is fantastic. So early next year, there's going to be some more writing of some more programs. So there'll be a number of programs up there, and excited about that. So, and then obviously introducing a seminar series for next year too, which I'm very much looking forward to as well. So probably easing back on the coaching side, looking at other areas of being able to help people. And so that's my 2022.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Now, I'll just share my 2022. We're very excited because we're heading over to Tasmania. And with that, we will be able to run our retreats at our own venue, which is something that we've been looking forward to and planning and dreaming about for quite a while now. And that's very exciting for us. And also getting the infrastructure and all the other planning things that we need. Of course, I've got Simon as my coach, and he's come up with some wonderful marketing ideas, and we'll be able to implement all those sort of things. So I'm really, really optimistic that things are going to get a lot better. On that note, I'm going to ask Ed, what have you got to feel optimistic about for next year?
I think firstly, and I know Simon and Tony, you're going to love this answer. I think the number one thing is the global awakening. I think a lot of people have woken up to what's going on. A lot of people are getting red-pilled, which is very, very good. And I even said this before, and I commend, as an old Victorian myself, I absolutely commend you Victorians. You're all out in the street protesting for freedom. I think it's awesome, right? I think it's awesome. You guys weren't doing that a year ago, but you finally got there in the end, and I just can't commend you enough for it. So I think what I like about it is that because so many people are waking up to what's happened, right? Again, I'm watching what I say, so I know this is going on the mainstream social media. It's making it more difficult for, bad, governments to do questionable things to the population. So I think from that point of view, we're going to have better conditions because people are pushing back and people are pushing more for just their freedom to go to work, earn a living, pay bills. Whoever thought that working to earn money was a freedom, huh? It turns out it was. It was. And I think the second part of the answer is internally, and thank you for you guys for helping me get there. I've now got the influencer platform and the skill and the meetup community to keep us growing as well. So I think, again, the global awakening plus our own business is really good. And again, I got to commend you, Victorians. I always point the finger at you guys at the start saying, what are you guys doing? Now you guys are leading the show, so power to you.
Thank you, Ed. And Simon, what does optimism mean for you?
Look, starting a new year totally fresh. To me, I think that is, and perhaps with the fear of no more lockdowns, I think for me, that's my number one. So let's just move forward and I think for me, having all those months of having lockdown, every business went online. So it's really opened the door to online marketing and doing business in a different way. So I think there's many businesses that jumped on board, and all of a sudden next year will be a massive boom in that area. I can see it now, and it's going to take off. So let's jump on board and enjoy the ride.
And optimism means to me a lot. I can see that 2022 is going to be a much better year than 2021. I can see that people are awakening, as Ed was saying. I think businesses have charted their course a little bit different to how they were doing it before. I think the governments will start waking up that the power is still with the people and always will be with the people. And I think things will get better. I think politically, socially, and spiritually, the whole nation and even the whole earth will get better and better, and things will be much better than last year. And I think we've all got a very bright future.
Yeah, and I think one other thing there, Tony, just I did miss something, a very pertinent thing actually, that Naomi and I will be sitting down this weekend and organising a date for our marriage. So,
wow, that's very optimistic.
Yeah.
And congratulations there, Simon. I'm very pleased. And the only thing I've got to say to you, Simon, why did it take you so bloody long?
Oh, not you too.
In defence of Simon, like the Victorians, he got there in the end, and that's what matters.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
right.
You've hit the nail on the head, my friend.
Yeah. Now, Ed, I'm just going to put you on the spot. If there's any one thing that you'd like to say to the audience, what would it be?
I think I'm actually going to rip off what Simon said the other day, and I love it. So it's got me thinking a lot, is reach out to other people. So if something isn't right or you're missing something, talk to someone you trust. Like, for example, there's a few blind spots in my business, and Simon has the expertise to go tick, tick, tick in probably like 5 minutes, right?
He's good.
And likewise, when I had a chat to wonderful Sharada, right? Legendary lady, right? You guys, Tony and Sharada, you've got that health expertise that no one else does, So I think reach out to people. Reach out to people like Simon, Tony, Sharada. Reach out to people, because you can't do it by yourself. And if you try and do it by yourself, you're just going to slow down your growth and no one's going to win.
Beautiful. Okay, Simon, what's your main takeaway from today's discussion?
I'd almost just say ditto.
But I ripped you off though, Simon. So you're allowed to. So you're not dittoing me. I actually ripped you off.
no, I totally agree with that, Ed. And I think if we don't know what we don't know, and I think in particular, if there's something there that is perhaps you're struggling with in business or in life, you may not have the answer, but there's someone around you that does have that answer. So it's just a matter of asking and getting that help. So yeah.
And my takeaway is that there are a lot of inspirational people all around you. Just got to look. There's Ed and Simon. Inspiration.
And Tony
That's what
Neale.
we need. We need
And
that.
Tony
20
Neale.
of it.
And Tony Neale.
Okay. So that's what we need. And I think we're just about ready to close the show.
Yep.
And we all bid you a very safe and magnificent 2021 during the festive season. Thank you, Ed, for appearing, and we love you and what you've actually done for a lot of people. I can vouch that you truly have got a good heart and you're really out there to help people. And just your personal messages that you give to inspire and keep us all going, that's really good. So keep up the good work, Ed. Thank you, Simon. Simon is my coach.
Yeah.
Simon is terrific. He's got that. I love how Melissa sort of said to Simon, he's got this grin as big as Luna Park. And it is. It's worth $1 million, right? And I like to acknowledge Simon for all his help and his service. He's a very caring person and he looks after a lot of people. He's also got a really good talent. He's got that intuitive. He seems to know what you really want without you even saying it. He's got that intuition. And I like to say thank you, Simon, for helping my business. And also I've noticed that you've helped a lot of other businesses around. You're doing a magnificent job. Keep it going, right?
Thanks.
And on that note, I think we all say goodbye to our audience. Thank you for being such a great audience. We've had so many wonderful fun times. I think we have too much fun, don't we, Simon, having this podcast? And on that note, we'll all say goodbye.
All the best.
All the best. You take care, everyone. Bye.